Hey everybody, it's GobletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today I'll be playing another premiere draft of March of the Machine. Without further ado, let's get into our Pack 1 Pick 1. Got a pretty sweet rare today, Hidetsugu and Kairi. Pretty powerful card. It's going to be a 5-mana 5/4 flyer that gives you a little bit of card draw no matter what, drawing 3 cards when it enters the battlefield, then putting 2 from your hand back on top. That still puts you up 1 card total, and it's decent card selection. Then when it dies, you get to exile the top card of your library, deal damage to your opponent, equal to that card's mana value. Plus, if that card was an instant or sorcery, you get to cast it for free. So, Hidetsugu and Kairi, pretty powerful card. The one thing I don't like about it is going to lock us into blue-black again, and I've been doing blue-black a whole lot, but I don't really see another option that's nearly as powerful as that. Honestly, the next best cards are also in blue, as far as Dispersal and Eyes of Gitaxias here. So I guess we're starting off blue-black, but we'll see if we continue in that direction based on what we get past. Pack 1, pick 2 now. We have 1 card that would be solid in the blue-black deck, Omen Hawker, and that requires a good amount of building around. We need to have a lot of incubators or other abilities to use this mana on. So I don't think I need to scoop that up this highly. I could take Invasion of Zendikar and potentially try to end up in one of the green-heavy, very splashy decks. That could be like green-blue splash the black, so that we can be in a different archetype. It's also one of the stronger cards in the pack. Outside of that, there's like Tandem Takedown for removal in green. That's kind of it. My favorite cards, I think, are just Omen Hawker, Invasion of Zendikar, Tandem Takedown, so I'll go for the Invasion of Zendikar here, see if we can do some green mana fixing sort of stuff. Pack 1, pick 3, we don't see any great blue or black cards yet again. Baral is probably the strongest one, pretty solid. Pretty solid for sure, making all our instants and sorceries cost 1 less, and very nice if you have a bunch of counterspells in your deck. However, it is competing with a Skittering Surveyor, which is great in any deck that's trying to splash a 3rd color. And we also see a Stoke the Flames, which is just very good red removal. It's also a straight-up burn spell, so it could finish your opponent's life total off, which can be great. I think those are my favorite cards in the pack, Stoke the Flames, Surveyor, and Baral. Phyrexian Censor can be pretty strong in a black-white Phyrexians deck, but one of the more narrow cards. Kind of like starting with Invasion of Zendikar and Skittering Surveyor here, that just leaves our options really open in the future, and yeah, let's do that. Grab a Skittering Surveyor. See what we get. Pack 1, pick 4 now. There's a Stormclaw Rager for black-red sacrifice. Doesn't look like where any of our cards really fit. Scornblade Berserker for a generically strong black card in general. Cryptomancer, generically strong blue card. Not much else going on here. Just everything else is a little overcosted for what it's doing. It doesn't tend to play that well. I guess the Battle Fan's fine, but I'm not going to take a Battle Fan over Cryptomancer is the better combat trick when I'm not in blue or black yet. I think I'll take a Scornblade Berserker here. That's probably the best card in the pack. Doesn't look like a lot, but all of its stats just work together pretty well, being able to cycle itself away later in the game to get you some value and give you some 1-drops in your deck to have something to do early in the game. So I like Scornblade Berserker quite a lot. We'll scoop it up. Pack 1, pick 5, we do have an Overgrown Pest, which is an excellent green card. It's kind of like a Skittering Surveyor, where most of the time it's going to hit a land, picking up a land out of your top 5, but sometimes, if you're later in the game and you top deck it, you might get lucky and hit a double-faced card like an Invasion of Zendikar, or any of the battles, or any of the flip creatures like Seraph of New Capenna, and you could draw one of those instead, which is very nice value late game, so I like Overgrown Pest a lot. I think it's the strongest card in the pack. Other strong cards are like Beamtown Beatstick here, plays really well in the red-black sacrifice deck because it fuels you with artifact tokens to sacrifice, as well as helps you mana fix and splash some stuff in. Outside of that, there's a Rugged Highlands if we want to do a lot of splashing, or Protocol Knight's really good for blue-white knights, but we're pretty far off from that. Pack 1, pick 6, we see some more great green cards. There's a Converter Beast now, 4 mana for a 0/1 that incubates 5, so off of 1 card, we get a 0/1 Chump Blocker and a 5/5 Phyrexian eventually. So just a lot of stats, a lot of good bodies off of 1 card. It's always going to play well. Next best cards here are Shatter the Source as removal in red, and probably Invasion of Rin. Very solid card draw out of blue, but we'll go Converter Beast here and stick to blue. Or sorry, stick to green. Pack 1, pick 7 now. Eyes of Gitaxias is probably the best card in the pack, a very good value play. It's the Seraph's pack mate of the format, a 3/3 that draws you a card. Sure, it's going to cost you 5 mana total, but you get to split that mana up whenever you need to. So any creature that draws a card when it hits the board is pretty good. Like even Skittering Surveyor is solid, even though all it draws is a land and it's only a 1/2 for 3. But cards like Overgrown Pest and Eyes of Gitaxias are great. So I will scoop that up. Bola Slinger is also quite nice in aggressive strategies. That backup ability just plays really well. That's about it, though. The Invasion of Urgamon has not been super impressive. Pack 1, pick 8, we have Marauding Dreadship as a nice aggressive card for a red deck, particularly good in red-black, for giving you two different bodies, two different rectangles off of one card. Invasion of Muragonda is fine, but pretty slow. We might take it anyway, but we could also take Windscarred Crag to help splash stuff more easily if we go for a full 5-color kind of brew. I think I'm cool to take the Invasion of Muragonda here. I don't think it's super powerful. 5 mana for a fight spell is really bad, but obviously if you can flip it, that's where it becomes worth its mana cost. And when we have cards like Overgrown Pest that want us to have more double-faced cards in our deck, some extra battles do actually go up in value a decent bit because they give us more cards that we could hit off the Pest late game when we don't need more lands. Pack 1, pick 9 is a pretty easy Wildwood Escort. It's just a solid value late game play in any green deck. We could take Dreadship for aggressive red cards or Invasion of Moog for green-white counters. But I think I'm pretty happy to stick to green for now, and we'll keep doing it with Arachnoid Adaptation, which is a fine combat trick. Not super exciting, but it's nice to have 1 or 2 combat tricks in most decks in the format. It plays just as well as most of the others. Now we can take a Wildwood Escort here. None of the off-color cards really good enough to push me off of just taking a bunch of green cards for now. And these cards are pretty much unplayable, but I'll go ahead and take the Urn of Godfire in case we really need fixing. Now we have a Beamtown Beatstick. Could be interesting if we end up in green-red. I tend to try to avoid Mirrored and Avenged because there are a lot of really good black removal spells, and this is pretty mediocre. And Rona also is a pretty restrictive mana cost and not a super powerful card for that restrictive mana cost. So we'll take a Beat Stick in case we end up in like green-red that could help splash around. Pack 2, pick 1. We see a Deadly Derision, which is a phenomenal removal spell out of black. Outside of that, a very weak pack outside of that and a rare. I guess Ingarunize is pretty solid. But there's also Sword of Once and Future. Really want to have instants and sorceries that cost 2 or less for this to be good. It's early enough in the draft that we could scoop some up, but it's really only good, I think, in a black or a red deck where you could have 2 mana removal spells like Final Flourish, the -2/-2 instant, or Volcanic Spite, the 3 damage instant. Because you really want to be getting that bonus value off of it, otherwise it's kind of a slow equipment. I might rather just be on Deadly Derision here. I have no removal yet. It's a really close choice. I do think the sword is strong, but we would have to go after it pretty heavily here. And scoop up some 2 mana instants or sorceries super highly, and we'd be locked towards green-black or green-red. Deadly Derision is a really, really strong removal spell for any deck that can hit double black, because it's going to be instant speed, it's going to remove whatever you need, and it's going to give us a treasure token to help with our splashy nonsense if we keep doing that. Pack 2, pick 2, there is a Streetwise Negotiator competing with an Elvish Vatkeeper. There's also a Vanquish the Weak, but that's more mediocre removal. I think we can pass up on that for now, even if we do end up with not a lot of removal. Vanquish is pretty situational. You do need to have a lot of good 2-drops, but I think Elvish Vatkeeper is the much higher payoff, more exciting card. So kind of rough to pass a 2-drop for a 3-drop, but I think it's where I'm at here. I think Vatkeeper is very good. Now there's Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty, which is another very good card. 5 mana for a 3/1, and you cascade when you cast it. That's already solid value up front. If you get to cast any more spells with mana value 6 or greater, you are in the money there. You just start going absolutely off. For those who don't know, Cascade is the mechanic where you exile things till you hit a cheaper card, and you also cast that card for free. So you get a random spell that costs 5 or less from your deck, and cast it alongside the Emoti, which really makes it worth the 5 mana investment just immediately. Pretty happy to take that. We're some combination of green, blue, and black splashing around here. I think I want to take Ichor Drinker here, and be heavier into black than blue, but I could also take Afara's Dispersal and be heavier into blue than black. Get more interaction into the deck. This one's a particularly cheap one. For only 1 mana, we get to bounce an attacking creature and Surveil 2 to set up our draws. Definitely some kind of soul tie pile. Looks like green at the absolute core. Yeah, I mean, that double blue on Hidetsugu and Kairi is easier to hit if blue's a heavier color than black. Maybe we are on Dispersal. I am also still pretty low on removal spells and bounce spells and interaction in general, so I'll get another piece of interaction over the solid 1 mana card there. Nothing particularly good out of this pack, the best cards being like Angelic Intervention as a super sweet combat trick for white decks, but we're very far off from playing that. We have like an Astral Wingspan, which isn't really the right kind of card for this deck. We look like a grindier deck that's just setting up its mana and then playing some powerful late game grind, not really a deck that needs to send something into the sky. Ichor Shade and Oilcaster super filler. We already have 1 adaptation. I guess I'll still take Wingspan, but I don't think this is a deck we're going to play a Wingspan in. Pack 2, pick 6 is a whole lot of nothing for us. Some strong red cards, I guess. I'm not going to play a Vengeant Earth or a Bonded Herdbeast, so we'll just take the best red card, I guess. Pretty unlikely we play it. Guess I'll consider it, put the Beat Stick in that in there. Yeah, strongest card in this pack is the red card by a lot. Fearless Scald is pretty insane. If it didn't have the backup ability, if it just automatically put the counter on itself, it'd be a 5 mana 4/3 double strike. It's already a really massive finisher, so it is quite the strong card. We could take Timberland Ancient here. It would be pretty hard to pivot onto red at this point, but Scald is a very strong card. I'm still going to take Scald over the Timberland Ancient. Now we've got a Jungle Hollow that I think I'll happily take. We're definitely playing green and black no matter what. This is going to help our mana base quite a bit. Pack 2, pick 9. Very empty pack. None of these cards are cards I'd be happy to play, no matter what colors my deck was. Seraph of New Capenna and Invasion of Kylum I think are the closest, but they're both definitely filler level for their archetypes. Just hold down the Alt key and rare draft. Something I don't have 4 copies of. Pack 2, pick 10. There's a Fertilid's Favor for some mana fixing out of green, which is our main color, which is fine. Not the greatest mana fixing, but I think it's fine. I guess there's enough red cards here. We could take Ral's Reinforcements and push onto that color. Yeah, I mean, I've got Invasion of Zendikar and Surveyor for better fixing. We'll take a Ral's Reinforcements. Maybe try to get enough red cards that is a potential option for a pivot. Take a filler 2-drop. Got a lot of filler Arachnoid adaptations. Alright, I'm not super confident in this build so far, but we'll see what happens pack 3. See what we shape this deck into in the end. The Chomping Kavu or a Serpent Blade Assailant in green, which are fine. Our rares kind of poop. It's only good for a white backup deck. It is strong in that archetype, but not going to be good here. Take a Scornblade Berserker here for another solid 1-drop. Have to be pretty hefty, or pretty heavy on black to do that, though. Check out the curve again. I think I just take a 4-drop. Definitely significantly weaker than Berserker, but I'm again much more tied to green than black. We'll take the Chomping Kavu. Alright, pack 3, pick 2. I'm not heavy enough on green to play the triple green card. That's going to be very, very difficult because I think we're playing 3 colors minimum in the end, where we need a lot of land slots dedicated to helping hit our other colors of mana. Could definitely take an Invasion of Lorwyn. We're a bit rampy with Invasion of Zendikar, Skittering Surveyor, and Overgrown Pest, all drawing us an extra land or 2. It's going to be a fine late game removal spell, even if we have the tiniest splash of black ever. I'll take that Invasion of Lorwyn. Fortune Tracker feels pretty nice because we're very, very low on 1 and 2 mana plays. Kami of Whispered Hopes helps the mana base more, but then we have so little to do on turn 1 and turn 2. I think we need to get some early drops pretty badly here. I'll take a Portent Tracker. Well, Invasion of Lara could be the thing we're trying to do. It'd be a difficult thing to do here, though. We would need to run a Plains because we haven't gotten any copies of Blighted Burgeoning. And the payoff is good, but it's not explosive enough to be worth running unless you already have really good fixing. I think we just have okay fixing. I think getting the white source into the deck is going to be quite difficult without Blighted Burgeoning or something that naturally taps for a mana of any color, because that white source is just a colorless source otherwise. I could take Brutaclad as an easier splash. We already have some blue cards and some red cards. I'm going to go Brutaclad here. I feel like that would be easier to make the cut. Not that it's going to be easy, but it would be more possible. Take a Thornwood Falls now. We're definitely playing green and blue. Could just play like everything but white. Yeah, this might this might work out. It's going to be a weird one, but it could happen. Another Overgrown Pest is very nice here. Digging for a land of whatever color out of the top 5, so we have to hope we have the right colors in the top 5, but it can help fix. Invasion of Pyrulia can as well, but it's harder to cast up front, needing that blue mana, and blue mana is probably going to be a bit hard to come by, a little bit splashy for casting that early game. I'd rather just take another Pest off of our main color. And Overgrown Pests can draw into Invasion of Lorwyn, so we could take another one of these just to have a lot of big, slow invasions as our removal spells. But then they're drawable off of Overgrown Pest, which is nice. Just a Serpent Blade Assailant now. Scoop that up. I will not be playing any of these, I think. So let's see. I already own 4 copies of everything, as I see by holding down the Alt key. Just take a Dreg Recycler in case we play enough black that we could cast black 2-drops. Nothing here. Take a Bola Slinger. Nothing here. We'll take a Battle Fan. Nothing. Well, Unseal the Necropolis is actually not bad in a deck with some bombs like Brutaclad, Hidetsugu potentially. Being able to recur those later in the game can be strong. Yep, we're going to have to run a few of these Blade Masters here so that we actually have 1 or 2 mana things to do, but actually I'm pretty happy to see those that late. Not that they're good cards or cards we really want to end up in our deck, but if you don't have anything to do turn 1 and turn 2, you can just fall too far behind in any modern limited set. Again, the set isn't like particularly fast, but again, it is still a modern limited set. You need to be able to play some spells early in the game for when you do play against aggro. So how on earth are we going to build this? That is the big question. So I don't actually have that many blue and red cards. So it feels like the simplest way to do this would be to drop to 1 or 2 islands and mountains. Hidetsugu and Kairi being double blue is difficult. We might have to cut them. Or red, we could splash off of one red source for Brutaclad, right? Because we could have one mountain, and then we have Skittering Surveyor, Double Overgrown Pest, and Invasion of Zendikar digging towards it. Surveyor and Zendikar will always hit the one mountain. The pests just dig 5 cards closer to it. I feel like we can Brutaclad off one mountain. We also have one treasure token as well from Deadly Derision, which is something. Yeah, I think I cut the rest of the red. And then I guess I could go like 2-3 islands and keep Hidetsugu and Kairi in here as just a very powerful card. And then Dispersal only needs 1 blue source. We could keep that in. Gitaxias only needs 1. I don't want to have a million blue cards though, and I still don't think Wingspan looks great in here. We do have a lot of big invasions to attack though, so being able to buff up one of our creatures, send it in the sky, try to flip an invasion with it could be okay. I want to cut down on blue. I'm just going to cut all 3 of those for now, and then I need to cut 5 more cards. Probably Vengeant, Earth, and Combat Tricks don't make a lot of sense in here. Yeah, all of our creatures and battles up top are fine. I guess I have double Wildwood Escorts. I don't really need the Unseal, and Self-mill can actually go really, really wrong when you're trying to splash colors off of 1 or 2 sources of that color, because you can end up in a position where you mill your 1 island, and then your Brutaclad is just never castable, or your 1 mountain, stuff like that. So I might drop Unseal and just rely on the double Wildwood Escort there. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those are the 5 cuts. This could be even an 18 land deck where we cut 1 more card. That seems reasonable to me. I don't know if it's the best build of the deck ever, but just a regular Premier draft here. I don't need to debate over it for 10 minutes or anything. Seems good enough for me. Not confident in this deck. This is going to be a high variance deck for sure. We could draw some absolute bangers, but we could also just miss our off colors pretty easily. So, not in love with this deck. Usually for the 5 color decks, you want to end up with Blighted Burgeonings for sure. But we didn't see a single copy of that in the draft, which is not good. Blighted Burgeoning is the 3 mana green enchantment you can enchant onto a land, and then that land gains the ability to add a mana of any color every time it's tapped. So it adds its normal mana plus 1 of any color. Usually I like to have 2-3 copies of that to really make these decks shine. And you're really happy when you have like 3 Blighted Burgeoning and like 2 Portent Tracker, because then you can use those 2 together to get even more mana of whatever colors you need. So Blighted Burgeoning is really good at helping these decks function, and without any copies of it, it's pretty awkward. We also didn't get one of those Mana Dork commies, because at the time I think I had 1 1-drop and 1 2-drop, basically, so I thought it was important enough to get things to do early in the game to take a 2-drop over the 3 Mana Dork, but that would have also helped fix quite a bit. So that might not have panned out pretty well. I think those are the main things we could have done differently towards a green splashy deck here. We could have ended up with a Kami Whispered Hopes tapping for a mana of any color. And I don't know, we could end up with a Vanquish the Weak for more removal, but we have three removal spells that kill anything and 1 fight spell. That's not bad. The removal's okay here. Alright, I'm going to double check the mana base here. I kind of just instinctually built it. I think that's probably good enough. 17 green cards, 7 black. So 8 green sources, 6 black sources. Seems fine by me. 4 blue sources to try to hit the double blue splash is reasonable, and then 1 red source for the Brutaclad. But that red source is too durable. We can search for it with Invasion of Zendikar or Skittering Surveyor. And then we have 1 treasure. So 1, 2, 3, 4 red sources plus double pass digging. Yeah, 4 ways to know we immediately have a red source on board, and 2 ways to try to find it. Yeah, this actually seems not horrible, mana-wise. I don't think it's a great deck. I don't think it's the best mana I've had in one of these 5-color decks for sure. It's far from it, but it's got some legs to it. Yeah, not a super strong multicolor deck, but a pretty average one. Not the greatest mana fixing ever, but serviceable enough that we shouldn't be completely cut off of the colors that we need in every single game. So we should be able to do some fun things here and there, and have our fingers crossed, hope for the best in our draws as we head into the gameplay. Here we are for game 1 with a pretty solid opener mana-wise. We've got green, black, and blue mana. We've got an Overgrown Pest as well to search for another land out of our top. And there's the double blue we need if we draw into a Hitotsugu and Kairi. We're playing against a red-black deck, which can be a pretty aggressive sacrifice archetype. But they haven't played anything on turn 2 on us yet, which is definitely good. Gives us a little breathing room despite them being on the play here. They don't have a hand that can really push that early pressure immediately. And yeah, turn 3 Skittering Surveyor. Looks like we should be fine in the early game. Alright, and they are not Rakdos Sacrifice, because that is a Skittering Surveyor into a forest. They could still be. They could just be splashing a strong green rare of some kind. But would still expect them to play some early game threats. And they've certainly just played a slower game here, not doing anything till turn 3 and then just getting a basic. Plus their name is 5-color nonsense, so we gotta see if they're lying to us here. War-Trained Slasher. That is a pretty strong card. Because of the menace, we're gonna have to double block and lose 2 creatures to kill that. I guess I could block it with a 3/3 and a 5/5 theoretically if I play the Vat Keeper this turn, but I'd rather just drop the Invasion of Zenda card, get a swamp and a mountain, and that would make it so everything in our entire deck is castable. Like, we just have perfect mana. Alright, so we've got the perfect mana rollout to cast anything we draw into. And we've got plenty of value here. Oh my god. War-Trained Slasher into Fearless Scald is wild. We're going to take 10 damage to the face now from that, or lose both of our creatures. I'll take the 10 to the face. We draw into Invasion of Lorwyn. That is a great one. If they don't have a second copy of Fearless Scald, then I could double block the War-Trained Slasher. Could also double block the Fearless Scald, I guess. I'm gonna try to get the double block on the Slasher. The Scald hits us a little bit harder if something goes wrong. It hits us for 6. If something goes wrong with the Slasher, it hits us for 5. It's also easier to get a double strike, a Death Touch block on the Slasher. Oof, something went wrong. One of our dorks is dead, which means we can't block the Slasher. Down to 4. We are dead to a Stoke the Flames if they have that burn spell. They don't have the double red to cast it right now. They have to wait till their next turn. Yeah, Fearless Scald is just a heck of a card. Ren's Resolve is the play. They pick up a Realm Breaker and a Flitting Gorilla, so they can mill us a bunch and try to get a mill game. Thornwood Falls is actually quite the draw for us, making sure that we don't die to a Stoke the Flames. Be at 5 life now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. If I play Escort, I don't get to play anything else. Maybe I should have sacked the Blade Master instead of the Pest, so that I could have Escort Blade Mastered no matter what I drew. That would have been a reasonable line. 7 mana is enough to play a Pest and an Assailant, though, so we can just do that instead for now and not play the Escort. That way I just Get my gain life land here. Let's play the pest first so we can see if we hit any double-faced cards. Don't hit any double-faced cards. Let's just grab another forest. But we're definitely playing the life gain land this turn. Now let's drop the assailant. So I've got a Death Toucher. So I'll just buff the Blade Master. Does make it big enough to flip an Invasion of Zendikar if they don't block. But if they just chump block and then removal spell me, I die to the 5 menace damage, so I need to hold it back here, I think. Play around a removal spell. No matter which creature they kill with a removal spell, we'll be able to double block and kill the War Train Slasher. Try to go from there. That would lead into a next turn Wildwood Escort into Overgrown Pest or something. To get 2 more blockers on board next turn. Yeah, if we don't die this turn, probably fine for now. Like if they just drop down a Realm Breaker and start milling us or something. We are going to have to get in the lead, though, if they play a Realm Breaker, because if we sit here just blocking and trying to survive forever, we'll just end up milling out over time. I think I'm going to cash in the Death Toucher here so that if they don't have an indestructible combat trick or a first strike combat trick, the Slasher dies. Whereas if I go for the double block with Pest and Blade Master, if they have like a +2/+2 combat trick, then it won't die. Final Flourish. Removal spell. That's unfortunate. I think I'm still okay with how I blocked. I could have triple blocked to play around another removal spell from them. But I don't know. I feel like a combat trick would be more likely and it would hurt more if I triple blocked against a combat trick than if I double blocked against removal, I think. No, I guess this hurts more, because if I triple blocked against a combat trick, I would lose my whole board. But if it was just a combat trick, the Death Touch would kill the Slasher still. If it's the indestructible combat trick, that would have been disastrous. The +1/+0 Bladed Battle Fan would have completely crushed me. Don't have any reach creatures or flyers in my graveyard or my hand. But if I kill the Flitting Gorilla with Invasion of Lorwyn, then they get to put a Fearless Scald on top of their deck, which is going to completely annihilate me. I think I need to try to draw into Invasion of Muruganda for another removal spell. There it is. I think that's my best bet here, because if I just kill the flyer right now, next turn they just give this thing double strike again and have a double striker on board. So this way we still have the blockers to kill the Slasher on the ground. We take 2 damage from Gorilla for a turn. But then I can play Vatkeeper and Invasion of Muruganda to have more than enough blockers on the ground to chump block 1 double striking attacker in the future. And we get to kill the Gorilla with the Invasion of Muruganda and then kill the double striker with Invasion of Lorwyn later. If I play around instant speed removal again, then if they don't have instant speed removal in their hand, I'm letting them kill another creature for nothing. Right, because if I block like this, Slasher's already dead. If they have a pump spell or a removal spell, though, then it will not die. But if I do this, even if they have a pump spell or a removal spell, they can just be like, okay, I'll wipe your board, and then save the removal spell or pump spell for the next time I try to block something. I still think I have to do this at this point, but it doesn't feel particularly good. That Menace has put in a lot of work. Maybe the threat assessment was off and I should have went for the Menace card. Double Strike is just like so impossible to kill on blocks, but at least you can jump block it, you know? Really hard to get our blocks in against that Menace card, which has been an issue. Derision's a great draw. I don't know if it keeps us in the game now that they played all these creatures. Let's see. I can't play Vatkeeper and Derision unless I Derision first. I could Derision and then play Vatkeeper and play another 3-drop, but I don't have another 3-drop. Play Vatkeeper and Invasion of Muragonda. Or Vatkeeper and Invasion of Lorwyn. I don't think I can survive. I don't think I can survive, but I think this would be the best bet. No, they get a double strike trampler now. Yeah, we can't survive. Because I can't make enough blockers to kill and block everything on the ground. So I think I have to kill the flyer. And then try to block enough ground troops so that they only ping in for 1. But the problem with this is killing the flyer puts the Fearless Skald on top of their deck. And now they're going to have a double strike trampler. Which I cannot survive. Yeah, this was just Fearless Skald's game. I think the big thing we could have done is probably killing the Menace card instead of the double striker. Things might have went different from there. This turn, I probably could have theoretically survived for 1 turn, but there was no crawling back from this point. And I was out of timers, so I didn't have the time to find the non-lethal point. I guess this is technically non-lethal, right? Trample for 1 and hit me for 1 there. Technically not lethal. I do get 1 more turn this way, but I think I would have 1 more turn if I let them keep the flyer and just killed all the ground troops instead. Alright, I'm super dead now. Yeah, there were a lot of micro decisions there that I don't think were super obvious that could have panned out a lot better throughout the game. The main one being just go for the kill on the Menace card instead of the double striker so that we could attempt single blocks in the future. The other one was a double block over a triple block on the slasher earlier. Made it so 1 instant speed removal spell won that combat. I feel like we'd still end up having pretty similar problems if I left them with the double striker, because the only way I could threaten to kill it is with double blocks still. Unless I held the mana up for Blade Master, that might have been the best line. If I ended up killing the Menace card instead of the double striker earlier in that game, then I could actually threaten like an Iridescent Blade Master block, where I buff it up to make it a 4/4 so that it just 1-for-1 trades into the Skald. And that could have been good for us. Yeah, kind of just got outclassed by Fearless Skald plays. The flyer that we just couldn't afford to kill without putting a Fearless Skald back on top of their deck was really devastating too. So I don't think they had the Flitting Gorilla on board when I chose to kill the Menacer over the Skald. So that couldn't be part of the consideration of, well, if I kill the Skald, they can just bring it back from grave. That part played out really, really poorly for us, but wasn't something that we could have played around, I think. I guess just because they were on black, we could have played around Graveyard Recursion. But I think the big thing is on board, the fact that we can single block the double striker. Even though we have to double block it to kill it in most situations, we can single block it to chump, which we can't do with the slasher. Because that got us really low, so yeah. Probably could have changed the outcome with a lot of slightly better decisions stacking up there. But kind of a bummer. Had excellent mana there, but we just got double striked into oblivion, losing half our life super early in the game. 0-1 heading into game 2. Here we are for game 2 on the draw. This is pretty awkward, but I'm going to keep it because I'm on the draw. We know that we have 2 Iridescent Blade Masters no matter what. I have the blue source towards Brutaclad, so I just need to hit a Skittering Surveyor or something. The biggest flaw is the lack of a black source for Dreg Recycler, but hopefully we could draw black sources before we draw too many black cards. We did draw a second black card off the top as our first draw. Not excellent. We have hit a land at least, so we have land 3. It is an island though, which is not going to be useful unless we hit Hitotsugu and Kairi, and there's the swamp, and now the mana is working out excellent. Let's drop a Berserker, that'll let Blade Master get in without even pumping it. Just play another Blade Master. Our opponent's on mono black so far. I can't imagine they're only running one color. Blue black it is. They've now got an island and 3 swamps and a Dreg Recycler, and Deadly Derision just main phase immediately while we're tapped out to kill that Blade Master and get it out of the way. There's the red source for Brutaclad. Yeah, things are working out pretty well for us this game, I would say. Send in the Blade Master. If they block, I'm pretty cool to spend my turn killing their Recycler. If they don't block, though, I'll just play my own Recycler and pass. And they did not block. This way I get to play Recycler, pass, and draw a card in their end step off of the Scornblade Berserker. Then we can Wildwood Escort the Berserker back. Oh my god, we need to draw a removal spell. This was probably in their opening hand alongside a 2-drop. No, it was not. They were just waiting to cast it and a non-creature at the same time, so even if I kill the Seed Shark, they've gotten a 3/3 out of it, so it's a nice 2-for-1. No way I discard Brutaclad unless I pick it up with Escort, and I don't know if I can pick it up with Escort without the land. I guess I could discard Brutaclad and then just play Wildwood on Brutaclad. It's probably fair enough. Yeah, I guess that's the best play. That lets me know that I still have a land to try to make it up to 6 mana. I still have a turn 5 play, and I still have a turn 6 play. But yeah, we need to draw into removal for Seed Shark, or it's going to take over the game very quickly. Pretty fine with this trade because I can't get through a 2-4 or a 3-3 with this 2-2 anyway. So we'll just go for the perfectly even trade on board. And let's see what Berserker finds us. Finds us a Moti, Celebrant of Bounty. Well, if I cast a Moti, I don't get to play a Brutaclad next turn, but probably worth it to dig through our deck a bit here. We could hit a Deadly Derision off of a Moti. We could also hit an Overgrown Pest, and if we hit an Overgrown Pest, then the Pest gets to search for a double-faced card. Pretty much all of our removal outside of Deadly Derision are double-faced cards, because they're all invasions. Invasion of Zendikar, okay, that's not bad. Not a bad hit. But we need to kill this shark quickly, and that does not kill the shark quickly. So let's get a swamp if we hit Deadly Derision, and then probably just another forest. I've got double blue off of Thornwood Falls Island. Yeah, so make sure I have Deadly Dirge mana and then just get another green. Go for the insta-flip on Invasion of Amonkhet. If they flip it now, they get a Brutaclad, so I can't let them do that. So I think we have to just trade Emoti off. Could chump with Blade Master, but I don't have a 6-drop to actually cast to Cascade. Oof, they could get a Karuga with Invasion of Amonkhet as well. Get a Karuga, draw a card. They probably just get a Brutaclad if they flip it, which is really bad for us. We need to play Wildwood Escort next turn to make sure they can't do that. Preening Champion. Alright. We are the punching bag today, because now they get to flip the Invasion of Amonkhet, get a Karuga, and draw 2 cards off the Karuga. Just have not drawn any of our removal halfway through the deck. That's going to be an RIP. I don't even know what the best line is here. It could be Portent Tracker plus Escort picking up Brutaclad, then they flip Amonkhet, get a 4/4, draw 2. Alternatively, it's Overgrown Pest to try to find one of our invasions for a removal spell, the Invasion of Muruganda or one of the 2 invasions of Lorwyn, but neither would be castable right now, because I'd only have 4 mana up anyway. Probably just pick up the Brutaclad and let them do Karuga shenanigans. There's Karuga. Draw 2. And an Order of the Mirror. They're going to go for the flip on the Order of the Mirror. Drop a land past the turn. Brutaclad does not save us from these flyers, so I'm going to see if I can Overgrown Pest into Invasion of Muruganda. If I can't, I can still play Brutaclad. Wow, they're in the bottom 15 cards of our deck, I guess. All 3 invasions are in the bottom 13 cards of our deck, actually. This doesn't have reach, right? I shouldn't be chipping at this. No, it doesn't have reach, so I don't really need to try to kill that immediately. Gotta play Brutaclad pre-combat to get a 2/1. So we've got the ground cluttered up, so at least we're only taking like 4 damage a turn. So I've still got some amount of time. Dramatic Revelation. That's going to give them 2 more incubators. They get 2 2/2s. No, a 2/2 and a 3/3. A 2/2 from the Seed Shark, a 3/3 from the Revelation. Send in the Order of the Alabaster Host. And 2 flyers. That is true. We don't have a good blocker for the Order until I have the Blade Master mana up. Could chump with the Mirror, or just take 7. I'm just going to take 7. There's an Invasion of Lorwyn. 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 6 plus 3, which means I do have the mana to Blade Master to trade that into the Order. Next turn. Please don't have a counterspell or the Hexproof Dork. Cool, the Seed Shark is gone, so now we're just taking 2 damage every turn. I'm on a 6-turn clock to find another removal spell for Preening Champion. If I can end up killing Preening Champion, we can actually block on the ground and we can try to take things over with Brutaclad. Since they've just drawn one removal spell all game. Like, if they don't find removal for Brutaclad, we can get things under control on the ground. I can 1-for-1 trade Blademaster into the Order of the Alabaster Host, but might be better to be a little greedy and just go for a chump for now, so that any turn where I do draw a land, I get to Blademaster block and not lose a creature at all. Alright, so this turn then. I should have chipped at the Invasion of Zendikar last turn as well. Should have made my future plans early. Part of the thinking ahead thing that you do in chess and Magic. You always want to be thinking what your plan is going to be on future turns so that you know what you need this turn. I was just instinctually holding up the 4th mana for Blademaster's ability, so I had access to that, but once they went into the combat, I decided I should probably try to wait until I can block with Blademaster and not lose a creature. And at that point, if I was going to wait and not have the 4 mana to buff Blademaster anyway, or not buff the Blademaster anyway, I might as well chip at that Invasion of Zendikar, get that to flip sooner. I don't think it's going to matter too much. They're still not going to be able to attack us on ground, and we're still not going to be able to attack them on the ground. But we could add one more creature to be a little safer, I suppose. Now I have a Death Toucher, so we'll be fine. And I can just make Wildwood Escort big enough to trade off. Interesting. Alright, it's fine. I guess that's the best they're ever going to get out of a Volcanic Spite. Actually, I don't know. Maybe killing our Death Toucher would be better. Printing Champion's doing its thing. We're down to 6 now. That could be very good for us. Even if they have the counterspell, we've got the 4 mana up. They do not have a counterspell. Do they have a hexproof trick? No. Alright. We're going to mill out before them, especially with an Oracle of Tragedy on their board. And we need to worry about them having some more bombs. I'm not confident that this puts us in the lead right now. But this gets us to a position where we might eventually be able to attack and try to find a victory. 6 blockers. 9 attackers. It's 3 more attackers and they have blockers. It's probably like 6 damage I can get in guaranteed. I could just sit and wait. I'm getting a creature every turn no matter what. If I send an Awakened Skyclave, I'm just trading into a 3/3. They block with a 3/3 and a 2/2. Yeah, let's just wait. Maybe start sending in the Blademaster. Anytime that I just draw a land. Ooh, Etched Familiar is a very scary draw. Make us lose 2 more life and they gain 2 life. That puts us down to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 12 mana with Portent Tracker. We could triple buff the Blademaster. We also have Skyclave mana. And I'll have plenty of blockers. Alright, sure. I actually attack an Invasion of Lorwyn here. I think that would even more convince them to block. They probably just get a chump with an Oracle or a 1/1. Okay, chump with an Oracle. They're going to shuffle their best 4 cards back into their deck, I think. Like Chrome Host, Seed Shark, Karuga. Yeah, that's not... It's not great. Oracle of Tragedy is really good in these late game positions. Oh, they're just going to draw a discard? Okay, that's still value for them for sure. But I'm a little less scared about that. That must mean they still have power in their deck if they choose to do that, rather than shuffling in like a Seed Shark and a Champion and an Invasion of Amonkhet. That could actually be a bad sign that they chose to draw and discard instead of shuffle in there. Failed conversion, the Brutaclad. Well, easy come, easy go. I should have tapped to hit an Invasion of Lorwyn again, I think. I missed a tap there. I was holding it up for the Blade Master to be able to get triple buffed if I needed to, but then main phase 2. I don't think there was a reason to hold up the tracker. That was another minor punt this game. 2 Portent Tracker punts. Marauding Dreadship. It's a wide board state. None of it's in the sky, though. We've got a wide board state as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 total, because they have to crew to get the Dreadship going. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're still okay. Our creatures are smaller than theirs, so we need to have a few more than they do, but we do have a few more than they do. I can hold up 12 mana without tapping Portent Tracker now. Force them into another chump seems fine. They might be going for a kill block here. They're counting up our mana. It's basically a 6/6, so they could just double block, like 4/4 and 3/3. We don't actually have the best attacks ever here. Crew the Dreadship, double block 4/1 and 2/2? Something? Or no, it's not a 6/6, it's an 8/8. Essentially. 3 pumps, 3 +2/+2s. So they go 4/4 and 4/1? Suppose so. What the heck is that auto tap? The only thing that I need mana for right now is green cards, and wants to tap 4 green immediately. Oh my god, this is a creature land? Hold up a second. Oh, it only adds 1 mana though. Dang. This added 2 mana. I could actually surprise pump 1 more time than they thought I could. There's no reason to buff again. I guess they know I don't have any cards in hand. There's no reason not to. Do it for fun. Cool. They have 6 creatures. Okay, we got way more than enough to poke an Invasion of Lorwyn. And I should have been doing that sooner. That should be at 3 instead of 4 right now, which could definitely matter. They're currently milling out before us, but blue-black have several ways to make sure that doesn't happen. Plenty of graveyard recursion to bring back an Oracle of Tragedy and pop off. Like an Unseal the Necropolis. That probably seals the deal. They can get their Seed Shark back and an Oracle of Tragedy. That way they know they don't mill out, and they have a gigantic shark to kill us with. They could also just get 2 really big beefy creatures like the Seed Shark something else. Oh, they're going to go Karuga Oracle of Tragedy to make sure they don't mill out and then draw 1,000,000 cards. Actually, 1,000,000 is 2. 2 and 1,000,000 are very different numbers. So they're going to draw 2 cards here. Yeah, they just put a Deadly Derision, the Seed Shark, the Graveyard Recursion. Oh, they just draw 1? Oh yeah, this is a 2-drop, not a 3-drop. Okay, Invasion of Muragonda's cool. Actually, don't have anything big enough that's incredible here, because I can't kill Karuga with it without losing a creature. I could get a 5/5 Vigilance popping off, which is cool. Could also just hold on to it for whenever they play a Seed Shark. I think I'm going to try to just hold on to it. Oh, they didn't put the Seed Shark back in. The heck? They just put all removal, Deadly Derision, and some stuff in. They put Preening Champion in? No. They're just going for the mill plan. They brought them, each player mills 3, and they pick up 2 cards from Grave Thing. They're just going for Oracle of Tragedy mill. Which I don't even know if we've gotten out to. I guess Hidetsugu and Kairi can kill them pretty fast, but they picked up their removal. Yeah, I don't think there's anything great to use Invasion of Muragonda on right now. Converter Beast is not bad. We do have a Vat Keep in our deck. I might want to wait to flip that. I don't want to mate with Converter Beast. That's not looking like an enjoyable experience. Just gonna hold on to the invasion still. Okay. More lands for our opponent gives us time to hit nonsense, and we found the Vat Keeper. They don't have a Death Toucher, so we play the Vat Keeper. Make a 10/10. Now I could Invasion of Muragonda on Karuga. Oracle of Tragedy block makes a lot of sense. Their deck is now going to get even better. Now is when I guess Seed Shark and some nonsense. No, draw, discard a card again. All in on the Oracle of Tragedy loops. Okay. Better to flip this as a 4/4, just poke the invasion again. I think it's better to poke this invasion again so I can flip it next turn. Oh yeah, and I have the 5th mana from Awakened Skyclave, so I can still flip this Incubator during their end step. Unseal an Acropolis. Yep, that's bad. I have 3 cards left now. They get the Oracle of Tragedy back. They're down to 4 cards, which means they have like the instant loop. Got like 1 turn to kill them. Oh my god, I clicked on the wrong card. I'm supposed to click on the Vat Keeper. I always forget that you have to click on the Vat Keeper for the 5 mana ability. It's not gonna matter, because I can't break through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can hit them with 3 creatures for like 5 damage and then die on the crackback. Or I can not hit them and then mill out. But if they miss all of their mill cards for 1 turn here, maybe my board's big enough to kill them next turn. Unlikely, but possible. They've got 7 cards in there. I think 2 of them are the mill cards, Invasion of Amonkhet and the Mill 3 Reanimate. Oh my god. And Disturbing Conversion, so I guess my deck's gone. Well, cool. Get milled out. As you do. We'll make my opponent do some math here. The Spite attack. Well, I think that was a respectable showing that game. Our opponent had an uncontested Chrome Host Seed Shark for like 5 turns or something. And we still got to play out a pretty long game where we were getting close to a big enough board state to try to overwhelm them. But the blue-black decks with their late game mill is just so hard to break through. So it is what it is. They had an excellent start with Seed Shark. They had an excellent end with Oracle of Tragedy Loops. Not much we could do there, but we did what we could. Got some stuff going. Get milled out in the end. 0-2 heading into Game 3. Here we are on the play for Game 3 with beautiful mana. We're going to have 1 mana of all of our colors, thanks to our Skittering Surveyor. And we get a turn 6 Brutaclad. Let's drop Iridescent Blademaster turn 2. Our opponent's on black-red with a Bloodfell Caves and a Swamp. Invasion of Asgol, immediately killing Blademaster. RIP. Sadness on the stack. Just drop the Surveyor, get the red source for Brutaclad. Pass the turn. Poke for 1, woo! I guess if I held it back, I could threaten to double block and kill the Incubator, but I'm cool with Invasion going to 1 defense. Probably would have been better though, because they might not wanted to attack there. I don't love Wildwood Escort for Blademaster, but I think it's better than just playing a Dread Recycler. I don't have the Escort to bring back Brutaclad anymore, but this is so much more mana efficient and impactful for this turn. Brutaclad, go to combat, get a mirror. I think I have enough creatures to send in my 3/3 now. And the 3/3s shall trade. Yorion Sky Nomad, just a 4/5 flyer, that's it. Flicker Invasion of Asgol. There goes all the damage they dealt to it. I guess they get to kill a token. It is solid. Yeah, that's probably better than having a 3 damage dealt on it when they can kill it in 1 hit with their flyer. I'd rather lose Surveyor right now than a 2/1. Ooh, Invasion of Zendikar. Guaranteed flip that. I actually don't need another blue source because I have a Thornwood Falls in hand, so just grab another black and a green. Let them kill the Blademaster to flip the invasion. There's our 4/4 Vigilance Haste land creature. We'll drop our old Blademaster. They're just gonna scoop them up. They're over it. We found one. We found one victory. They could not find removal for Brutaclad, so we were just gonna keep getting a wider board state. At that point, I was just gonna be attacking with Blademaster though into the 4/5. I guess no, we had a wide enough board state. I should probably attack with like everybody but Brutaclad. They killed a Skyclave. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all the Blade Master damage. Yeah, we were threatening a lot of damage there. I will take whatever victories I can get after those first 2 games. We are going to be 1-2 now, heading into round 4. Here we are on the play for round 4. No black source yet, but Surveyor can get one of them. So we just need to draw 1 black source naturally. Other than that, the mana is perfect. We have the double blue for Hidetsugu and Kairi even. So we've got the mana for everything except the Deadly Derision in our hand, because we'll have 1 swamp, which is enough to cast all of our other black spells. So, almost perfect mana. Our 1 uncastable card is in our hand. Off of double blue, triple green, a red, and a black. There's only 1 card in our deck we can't cast, and that is Derision. Okay. Poke for 2. Drop the Surveyor, get a swamp. Our opponent is mono red for now. They've got a Beamtown Beatstick, so if they do get a creature down, they get to start getting treasure tokens menacing in. Main phase 2 for them with 3 mountains on board. They choose to just pass again. Another Blade Master. Guess we'll run that out. Pass the turn from there. Volcanic Spite is the play. They get to kill one of our Blade Masters and then draw a card by putting another card on bottom. And they are red-black, kept a mono-colored hand. They find the second color now, turn 4. We find a Brutaclad that I can't cast yet. I could attack in, and if they block with this 3/3, I can buff the Blade Master. I could also hold back, so if they play an Invasion of Azgul or something, I can block this. The problem with that is they could potentially just play this, or flip this and equip a Beatstick to it anyway to give it menace. I guess I only can't block that if they kill one of these creatures and give it menace. I kind of want to get extra damage in. Brutaclad is really good at trying to push in early victories, quick damage. I think I'm going to lean in on that. And just send in the Blade Master. Like, if they don't play a battle here to hit with their 3/3, I don't really care that much about getting hit by it for a turn. Oh yeah, they could just flip it right then. So they do have the mana to play the 2-mana battle and equip a Beatstick. So if it's the 2-mana battle that makes us sack a creature, then even if I held Blade Master up, we wouldn't be able to block here. But it looks like it's not a battle. They're just going to poke for 4, get a treasure. The treasure is definitely good for them. Play a completed Huntmaster. We draw into a Converter Beast. That is so good with Brutaclad, it's insane. I want to play the Converter Beast first. If I play a Brutaclad now, I'll have more creatures, but my 2/1's not going to be able to get in the Huntmaster. Blade Master's not going to be able to attack. And if I play Brutaclad now, I don't attack at all this turn. I think I attack with Blade Master and then play Converter Beast. And then next turn we Brutaclad and we can make our 5/5 Phyrexian a 7/6. Master of the Review is very strong with treasure tokens and completed Huntmaster on board. This is a really bad time for us. It's going to get very big, and when it dies, it's going to do a bunch of damage to whatever they need. And they can just sack it at instant speed. I think I have to flip and attempt a double block here to keep them from getting another treasure. But we're gonna get got by some kind of trick. Some kind of nonsense. So if I just give them the treasure, that's a 3/3 Yuri. They can then sack at instant speed to do 3 to anything. The final flourish. Yeah, that's fine. Converter Beast doesn't really do anything, so that's just 1-for-1 removal that could have been spent on Brutaclad. So that actually plays better than if I didn't do that. If I didn't do that, I would theoretically still have the 5/5 for Brutaclad, but then I would play Brutaclad and it would die before it... Excuse me, before it even gave us a token. So that actually played well for us, to get that out of the way so Brutaclad doesn't die to it. Still not in love with our position. Because again, if I play Brutaclad here, I just don't get attacks in for the turn. But I guess we just hope their last card in hand isn't removal and Brutaclad can slowly but surely bring us into the game here. Try to find a Brutaclad victory. Unmaster sacks the beat stick so that they can get Yuri closer to killing Brutaclad, probably. They want to sack another thing and then sack Yuri and do 4 damage to Brutaclad. Rankle and Torbrin, never mind. Brutaclad's insta-dead. So all of their cards get to do 2 extra damage to us this turn. Each player has to sack a creature, which is going to trigger Yuri again. Each player gets a treasure token, which can trigger Yuri again. Wait, what? Choose any number. I guess they just sack the treasure. Sack the treasure and then sacrifice Yuri. I guess thanks to the treasure, I've got a Deadly Derision up now. Which might be able to get them here. If I move to combat and they try to kill Brutaclad, this doesn't make any sense. I feel like they should have just tried to kill Brutaclad already so that we don't get a mirror out of it. I don't know why Brutaclad is still around. Which actually makes it kind of rough because I don't want this treasure token to become a mirror. I don't want the mirror to become a treasure. Please try to kill Brutaclad. God dang it. Alright, Deadly Derision, too bad. Just get the Army of Mir. Make a 4/4 egg. Hope they make treasures again. We're all in on quantity now. We just try to have like 4 more creatures and they have blockers and they'll be dead. And we currently have 2 more than they have. And if I hit a swamp, then we have 3 more. I don't know if we win through Rankle and Torbrin. Yuri chicanery. Shenanigans. Uh-oh. Am I dead? They're adding 2 to their damage right now. They're going to try to throw a Yuri at me. And then Stoke the Flames? Did they top deck a Stoke the Flames? That would be the saddest ending. No, they're just going to kill Brutaclad now. Okay. That's pretty fine. Because they could have killed Brutaclad last turn. If they just did the... Oh, it's only players in battles. Never mind, I was in the wrong the whole time. So if they went for sack a creature, create a treasure, they could have killed Brutaclad last turn, because they could have, that would have been 2 sack triggers for Yuri, and then it would have been a 4/4 to sack it. But this only adds to damage to battles. Okay. Makes sense. Now I see. They still could have killed Yuri, but it wouldn't have been super great for them. They have 4 blockers. Block this, block this, block this, block this. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7 if I Deadly Derision a creature. If I draw a swamp, they might just be dead. Not exactly what I meant. This is not technically a swamp. So now, if I send in everybody, they block here, 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 and here. Take 5. Kill my Vat Keeper. They take 5, kill my Vat Keeper. They could probably find a way to survive and kill a bunch of 2/1s and then just kill me on the crackback. Right, if I attack with everybody, they have 4 3/3s to block with, which could just go a 3/3 on each of my 2/1s, and then a 3/3 on my Blade Master, and then they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then they survive, they lose 1 3/3, and then next turn they just hit me with Rankle and Torbrand so that all of their non-first strike creatures hit me for 2 more damage, and I take well over lethal. I can't actually attack super well here. I could send in a 6/6 and clear out 2 3/3s, I guess. Because I am all in on quantity, as I said before. So killing 2 creatures with 1 of mine seems fine. And then next turn I have Deadly Derision up. Try to find the victory there. I don't think we do though, because if they just only attack with Rankle and Torben, they get a treasure token to sack to the completed Huntmaster, and they have 3 blockers up total against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attackers. 3 creatures get in for 5 damage total, which is not lethal. There's another blocker, so that's 4 blockers total. There's the swamp. Maybe if we had Derision earlier, we could get there, but this is definitely not lethal. Could kill Rankle and Torben. Get into a top deck war. I don't love it. But they no longer have any attacks on me. I don't have any attacks on them. The alternative playing Derision aggressively here would be to wait till they tap out. Tapping the Huntmaster, then they flip another 3/3. We kill one of their 3/3s, and they only have 2 3/3s and a 2/2 to block with. Which goes block here and kill Vat Keeper, block here and kill the Mirror, and then chump block the 4/4, take 5. They're at 4 life. Again, Rankle and Torben crackbacks are just lethal. I think I have to just Derision Rankle and Torben now. They didn't go for sack a treasure for another blocker yet? I guess they can wait till I declare attacks. God dang it. I would really prefer... I guess in the end step they probably do it. So I would really prefer to get them to not be able to sack Rankle and Torben. Cool. So we actually do reduce the amount of creatures they have by 1. Alright, top deck war it is. Will we draw Hidetsugu and Kairi today at all? Moment of truth. Oh, they're just gonna filter through surveilling off of their 3/3s. Fair enough. 3 mana surveil 1 every turn. Ichor Drinker's a very good one. That's 2 bodies off of 1 card. So that's 2 3/3s. Because they turn that into a 3/3, then they incubate with it, and they turn that into a 3/3 as well. There's no chance in hell I can ever flip this Invasion of Lorwyn, but I can kill completed Huntmaster at least. Which I think I just do. Oh, it's an elf. That's lovely. I love that bonus text. Forgot that it only kills non-elf creatures. At least the Huntmaster was tapped right now, so they don't get to sack what I target in response. But it probably would have been better to just hold on to that then if it can't kill the only card on their board that matters. Aether Blade Agent. That's fine, we can trade a 3/3 into that. I don't think I have any other incubation in this deck, because I already hit my Converter Beast. Yeah, I can trade Elvish Vatkeeper into that, that would be fine. The only way that wouldn't play out well is if I draw into a Wildwood Escort to get a Converter Beast back from grave. Overgrown Pest is a beautiful draw. See what we can find off of it. Well, I guess Invasion of Zendikar it is. Gonna get some more lands out of our deck to make it harder to let out more. Harder to top deck more lands. There's only 6 left. There's only gonna be 4 in our deck after this. Alright. There's 4 out of 17 are lands now. They're going to turn their 2/2 trample into a 3/3 Phyrexian. Send in a Mind Stinger. I do have 2 Wildwood Escorts, so I probably should keep the Elvish Vatkeeper. Gotta lose 2 Mirror tokens here. Wow. That's a pretty good top deck. No matter how I block here, that's gonna ruin the block and give them another 3/3 off of the Huntmaster. Alright, this is why we didn't block with Vatkeeper. Although it's probably better to get Brutaclad for now. But if I draw my second Wildwood Escort, then I'll pick up a Converter Beast. Alright. Excellent top deck from our opponent into excellent top deck for us. I don't think this kills them. They have 6 blockers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attackers. No, it doesn't. No, 8 attackers against 6 blockers. I can get 4 damage in. It's close to killing them. But not quite. 6/5 has to get double blocked, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They flip into a 3/3 block with 2 3/3s. Yeah, this has to get double blocked. I think I send this in to reduce their creature count by 1. again. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers next turn, because they get to sack the battle fan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attackers next turn. Only one of them is 1 power, so we kill them if they don't draw something. But they surveilled and kept. I think they kept off the surveil. I'm not confident on that. I don't know if we still kill them. They didn't sack the battle fan to the Huntmaster, so they actually have 1 less blocker than they could have. So I think they are just dead next turn now. There's the one time we draw Hidetsugu and Kairi, and they're probably already dead on board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers, potentially. No, 5 blockers, because they have to tap Huntmaster to get a 3/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so they have to block everything, and they go to 1. Oh no, I get another creature. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they're dead. I'm pretty sure they're dead. I guess if they don't die, I can play Hidetsugu and Kairi and hope they don't kill me on the crackback. We'll see how bad I am at math here. But I think Wildwood Escort found us the victory here. I guess Hidetsugu and Kairi technically draws me like 2 cards here. Because I draw 3, put 2 back, so I can put my forest back and then put another, whatever, the poopiest of the 3 cards I drew back. So I should have done this pre-combat, because I could have hit my last removal spell. Invasion of Muruganda. And then I could have been really confident that this was lethal, but it already is. Cool. Cool. Long, hard-fought game there, and we're now going to be 2-2. Still have not cast a Hidetsugu and Kairi. I guess I could have casted that game, but it didn't actually matter to the outcome of the game, so that's my big goal for any future games. Trying to get a Hidetsugu and Kairi early enough, because we've had pretty much perfect mana the majority of the time. We've been getting pretty lucky on the mana, but just we've hit Brutaclad a lot. We have hit Brutaclad a lot with the red source for Brutaclad, but we've constantly had like the double blue for Hidetsugu and Kairi just at the ready turn 5 every game, and I think that was the first time we drew it. So that's my goal. Resolve a Hidetsugu and Kairi. We gotta play everything in the deck at least once. Here we are for game 5, 2-2 right now. This is the make it or break it on getting an average run or a below average run. So we'll do our best. Perfect mana again, double blue, 1 black. Skittering Surveyor gets the red source, Invasion of Zendikar gets the 2nd black for Deadly Derision. So really good mana here. So a definite keep. We gotta draw into some of our big late game like Brutaclad or Hidetsugu and Kairi, but the early game has the setup. Urn of Godfire turn 1, so they're definitely splashing in something good, otherwise they wouldn't be playing an Urn. So black and white for now, play a Flywheel Racer. They are definitely splashing around. Urn of Godfire into Flywheel Racer. I think I'm going to get the 2nd black source immediately so I have access to playing Deadly Derision next turn, just in case. And I can wait on the red source until I cast Invasion of Zendikar. Alright, poke them down to 18. They have 2 mana dorky things, but only 2 lands, so nothing to play that turn. So we're going to play an Invasion of Zendikar and try to immediately flip it. This will force them to use a removal spell on our 2/2 to get us to not be able to flip here. They do not have a removal spell, so kind of just the way that invasions work. They're going to go from behind to very far behind since they couldn't get any blockers out for the battle. Oh, and they're still stuck on mana here, and now we have 1,000,000. 7 mana here. Probably drop Emoti. I guess I have 8 mana if I use Skyclave, but it's probably... Well, it has Vigilance, so I can use it post-combat. Yeah, they're over it. Emoti into Converter Beast, attack them for 4, 5, 6, 7, and then play an Overgrown Pest post-combat. Yeah, that was a really good curve out for us and a really bad one for our opponent. So 3 and 2, it'll be not the best way to break even on win rate, but I'll take it. Always good to come back from an 0-2 start and be at least 3 and 3 at worst. Makes you feel good. You get at least a 50-50 win rate, and more importantly, at least 1,000 gems. The difference between a 2-win run and a 3-win run is massive in Premier Draft. A 750 gem buff from winning that 3rd game there. So we will take it. 3 and 2 heading into game 6. All right, here we are on game 6. First time we've had Hidetsugu and Kairi in the opener. And we have no blue sources. We need to hit double blue. If I keep this, I'm relying on turn 2 Blade Master and then waiting till turn 5. Unless I draw really good mana. Or really good spells even. I feel like this is a mulligan. 1 castable card in the opener until turn 5. And then there's a really uncastable card. Take a mull here. This is way better mana. Oh my god, it's Surveyor into Zendikar again. Drop one of these Blade Masters. That way we have our plan for turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. Our opponent is on the play here, so very unlikely we get to flip the Invasion of Zendikar, but we can at least use it for mana. And our opponent does have a turn 2 Thespian, so they'll have at least a blocker down. Let's drop Blade Master, and now... Once again, even without Invasion of Zendikar, this hand has perfect mana now. We have the double black for Derision, we can get the double blue off Surveyor, and we have the red source from the mountain. So, we could have kept the bad mana hand that had a Hidetsugu and Kairi, or the perfect mana hand that doesn't have Hidetsugu and Kairi. Alright, Guardian of Girapur. 3 mana 3/3 flyer, that is going to beat us down. Our deck is not particularly good against flyers. And that is also going to let them surveil again off of wary Thespians enter the battlefield effect. Yep, turn 3 Guardian Girapur is very threatening. Very scary. Let's go ahead and grab our second blue source. And pass the turn. We cannot attack into that 3/3 Flying Angel. So they send in for 3 damage and we're down to 18. They're on straight up green-white, it looks like, with their 2 Surveils being a basic forest and plains. Green-white tends to be pretty aggressive and has a lot of ways to put +1/+1 counters on the board. For now, our opponent is just doing generic aggro stuff. I've got okay blocks here where I can block the 3/1 with a 1/2 and the 3/3 with a 2/2 if they don't play another creature, because then this will die, making it so they have 2 creatures, making it so this dies. If they play another creature pre-combat, we won't have good blocks. But I think it's probably better to ramp up, then drop a 4/4 blocker. Worst case scenario, we just take a hit for 1 turn. This way, if I top deck an Invasion of Lorwyn or something, I can immediately cast it to blow up their best threat. Or if we draw Brutaclad or something, I can immediately cast that. Double block, I only lose one creature unless they combat trick. I think that's fine. I was already willing to 1-for-1 trade Blade Master into Shauna if they attacked with Thespian and Shauna. This is basically the same thing if they don't combat trick here, and if they do, then we're trading combat trick for our 2 creatures, which is okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a 2-for-1 for our opponent, but it stops them from casting another creature that turn, it looks like. Because they had to tap their white source. We hit an Iridescent Blade Master. Drop a Blade Master. I think I just play a 4-4 Kavu. So I have a 4-4 against their 3-3. Our hand is now Swamp, Swamp. So we gotta see what we draw into to see what we get to play. We are at the mercy of our draws. Serpent Blade Assailant for our opponent gives them a very good, very good attack here. Because that's another creature and a counter on Shauna, making it a 5-5, so I have to double block to kill it, and it has Death Touch till end of turn. Meaning if I do double block, I lose both my creatures. Yep, Assailant is very good there. I guess we're down to 7, and top deck a Forest. We'll play it down and pass the turn. Because Kavu gets trumped by Thespian. I guess I could kill Thespian by attacking Invasion of Zendikar, but then it's really easy for me to die on the crackback. 1 removal spell and I'm mega dead. Right, they chump with Thespian and then attack for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I don't attack Invasion of Zendikar though, aren't I still dead to removal? Yeah, I'm dead to removal spell even if I don't attack Invasion of Zendikar because they just kill the Kavu or the Blade Master. I have 1 blocker to block Shauna with, and then I take 8 damage from the other creatures. So I guess I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. Let's attack the invasion then. Alright. Sure, I die to them using removal spell on Blade Master, but again, if I didn't attack, I still die to them using a removal spell on one of my 2 blockers. Chomping Kavu. Spooky. I don't think I'm technically dead right now, though. But I go to 1 life now, because they get to put the counter on the Assailant to spread it out. That's a weird choice. Because I was already going to block that. I guess that makes it big enough that it's a trade instead of me eating it for free. That's fair. Force a trade here. Alright, we're down to 2. We have 1 draw step to hit something great. Invasion of Muragonda might be it. No, not quite. It's so close. It's so close. Yeah, it's not enough. If one of these lands was anything like a 2-mana 2/2 or something, it would be potentially enough. It depends on what's in our opponent's hand. It's all spells, no lands in their hand, so it probably still wouldn't be enough, but we could theoretically use this invasion to kill their flyer and then go for an attack on the Invasion of Muragonda or the Invasion of Zendikar. The problem is that's going to leave us with 1 blocker against 2 creatures, and we're at 2 life, so if any of the creatures get in, we're dead. So a single Invasion of Muragonda is not enough. Invasion of Muragonda plus 1 creature could do it for us, but we do not have enough spells this game. I guess they get to trade Chomping Kavu into our Kavu and then hit us for 2 when we're dead. Or I can sit here and then they just attack with both, hit us for 2 when we're dead. I'd rather send a message and be aggressive. Alright. Trade into the Kavu, attack with Assailant. And that is GG. There's not enough spells that game to function with. 3 and 3. It'll be. I'll absolutely take that for this deck. I don't think this was a great deck. I think the 5-color decks are pretty mediocre in general, even when they're really, really well drafted and really well built. There's still a lot of variance involved, even when you've got a bunch of burgeonings and dual lands everywhere and stuff. So when they don't pan together perfectly like this one, where it's a little more rocky, where the bombs are just all right, and the removal is not great, and the fixing is not great. The fixing actually played out perfectly. I can't believe that. This mana base worked perfectly. We had just 100% correct mana outside of like one game. I had to wait a little while to get a Deadly Derision down, which hurt us quite a bit, but I think literally every other game our mana base was perfect. So the mana base was surprisingly incredible. So I guess I can't knock it for that, but the removal was kind of weak, being very slow. There's only 2 bombs, which is a lot for most formats, but it's not a lot for a 5-color deck or a 4-color deck in March the Machine. And the general filler in the deck was a little weaker than usual with like Triple Blade Master or Recycler type filler. But yeah, I think 3 and 3 is not a bad run for this deck. Again, I think this archetype it can pan out really well, but I think it's a little bit overrated because it is a high variance archetype even in the perfect version of this deck, and when the draft pod doesn't work out particularly well for it, the deck can really fall apart. So I don't think it's a top tier archetype like blue-black is, but it's a solid one. And this was on the weaker end of what this archetype can do, so I would have expected to see maybe a 1-3 or a 2-3. And we managed to pull out a 3-3 with it, so pretty reasonable. Not an incredible run. If we got super lucky, we could have pulled off, maybe not a 7 win, but could have pulled off an above average run, a 4-3, a 5-3, something like that. But land right in the middle here, 3-3 I think is still a little bit above average of what I would have expected out of this. So, not bad at all. Get 1,000 gems back out of the 1,500 gem event. Not a bad time. Well, that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons very much for supporting this channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to hang out with me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out that Patreon link in the description as well. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.